Option.
There we go.
Hey, I've had to be like, I've had to pivot. How are you, friend?
I'm good. I'm good. We had a sad thing happen at our church. So a group from the church went to Greece on a 10-day Footsteps of Paul tour. And one of the women from our church, the day went to the emergency room, the day everybody else came back, her and her husband, and she had a brain bleed and um, she just died
Mm.
in Greece. Yeah, like, but I really think it was it's weird to say, but I think it was a God thing because she had cancer. And wouldn't it be great to go out on top like that instead of ill and you know what I mean? Suffering.
Yeah,
I mean, and we know she went to be with Jesus, but my heart's broken for her husband.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. I mean, loss sucks no matter who you are.
Loss sucks. That is the truth.
I was just looking ahead a little bit, and it seems we only have one full chapter and then like a mini chapter at the
Like a
end.
very mini chapter. That's funny because I was looking ahead as well.
I was like, oh, we're closing in.
Great minds think alike, right?
So we'll pick a new book soon here in the next week or so.
Awesome.
Um, I'm kind of wanting to do It's Not Meant to Be a Secret. God Wants to Speak with You.
Oh, that sounds good. Who's the author?
Nathan French.
Okay. Not someone I know, but I'm not like opposed.
Um, I don't even remember. I think I found him through like the God in a Nutshell channel on YouTube. I don't know. I think maybe Julie Green. I have no idea. I found him somewhere at a church online, and I liked it enough to go get his one of his books, and I'm gonna show it to you. I've read it so much
Oh
that
my God.
middle falls out. So I bought a second copy. It's actually right over there, and I want to like read it from cover to cover again because I literally just break it into tiny little increments. But I really want to read it from cover to cover again because it is a good book, and every time I read it, I get something different from it every
That
single
makes
time.
it an excellent book.
So it was like somebody once said, yay, so you read 100 books, or could you read 6 books 100 times? Mm,
Right.
yes. I was like, because I can read Atomic Habits like every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Okay. That seems I really love Atomic Habits. That's a great book.
I literally just bought my baby cousin that for his 16th birthday. I was like, you're going to keep this forever? Do you want to highlight her? Because you're going to want to highlight segments of it. And he's like, no. And I was like, okay, he's going to end up like in his 20s finally cracking it open and reading it and being like, dang, I should have read this earlier.
Well, yeah, but when we're 16, we don't know anything.
All right. So, The Altar of Generosity, that was a good chapter.
It
Um,
really was.
and he starts the chapter out with the book of Proverbs, which I always say, if you want to be slapped upside the head and made to feel like a real idiot, read the book of Proverbs because they're really good at being like, you're dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's a reason the book of Psalms is the book before Proverbs because you're like, yay, with the Psalms, and then Proverbs like, you're dumb, and you're like, pfft. See, if you were already here and then crashed with the Proverbs, it wouldn't be the same. But you're here, you go up with Psalms, then you come back down, you're even again, even keeled.
There
So
you go.
it just keeps us humble. But he starts off with the book of Proverbs. He's like, there's one who scatters, yet increases more. And there is with one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. And he spent some time talking about getting in state in the first part of this book. And he mentions like Tony Robbins and stuff. And Jesse Lee always used to mention getting in state as well. And so does Fraser Brooks. Like Fraser Brooks talks about before he goes live, he'll clap 10 times. And it gets him like on that 10th clap, it gets him like, hey, it's Fraser. Like, I don't know, you know how he's intro, like, and he said one time I was walking through the airport, I think he was in Liverpool, and he realized it was that time and he was going to have to clap 10 times and he was scared to do it. So he went into the bathroom into a stall and shut the door.
Even weirder. I think I'd rather do it in public than
And
in
then
the
like
pod.
was able to walk down the like down the hallway again after he came out and pressed go live. But he had to get in state first. And um like that is just an action that triggers that response. So like his was clapping 10 times. um Jesse Lee's was standing. Like a lot of the times she was standing when she do trainings with us. I think they probably invented that standing desk for her because she was like the first person to do standing trainings. Um, but I know that like Tony Robbins and everyone talks about getting in state, and that allows you to flip the switch first. And um, a lot of us, like, we need to get in state with God, like a lot of us are out there just trying to go our own way instead of getting in state with God. I wrote book highlight. Here we go. Uncertainty is a feature, not a bug. Humans tend to eliminate uncertainty, thinking that they're creating something predictable and logical. However, this is it is in this zone of uncertainty that God causes promotion to occur. And go ahead.
If it's certain, we can do it on our own
Right.
and we're not depending on God. And
And
that doesn't make sense.
I'll tell, like, even with the podcast thing, like, when I first heard that, I was like, what? No, like, I'm not a podcast person. And then it went from starting 1 to 3, like, in the blink of an eye, literally, like, in 24 hours. And I was like, well, I mean, I figured out how to make one, so why not? Why not do 3? But I was very, very uncertain about it. But God's the one that set it up. Like he's the one that wants me to do the podcast stuff. And I get these emails from where I upload my podcast, and we're like, your podcast had 1,000 downloads. And I was like, I don't even know who those people are, but hey people.
Right?
Yeah. And then it's talking a lot about Isaac Newton, and it said, before Newton, the church and science were linked together. The first scientists, by basic definition, were the ancient spiritual leaders, including the Hebrews, trying to understand why things happened. And one thing I wanted to also talk about was the scientists that like tried to debunk the Bible ended up becoming Christians. And I just thought that was like 100% of them, not just a few of them or a handful. No, all of them. Literally every single one of them that's like, this is fake. I'm going to prove these people are crazy. All of them are now on.
That say that way are the ones that don't actually try to do the proving. They're just like, yeah, Christianity's just garbage. And
Yeah.
they don't do any research into it.
And, you know, we have to like give things away to to grow and to expand. And it said, like, as Jesus said in John 12 verse 24, you are like a seed. Unless you fall to the ground and die, you can't grow. And I was thinking about it, like seeds, to make that plant, you put the seed in the dirt and then it breaks that shell that it's in and it starts to grow a plant. And he mentioned it in here about how when you're a butterfly or a caterpillar, you experience death as a caterpillar so that you can become a butterfly and fly away. But the separation between science and spirituality went too far. People began to filter everything through the lens of determinism, reductionism, objectivity, and materialism. And they like gave the four definitions. And he said, there's nothing new. Lord Kelvin famously said, there's nothing new to be discovered in physics now. All that remains is more and more precise measurement. However, 5 years later, Einstein came out with a theory of relativity. And then 25 years later, quantum theory emerged. So it just got like, think about landlines. Like, you remember landlines forever? We had them phones with the cords attached. And then how we had them cell phones in the bags that like plugged into the car lighter.
Mhm.
Uh,
They
and
literally
over
called them
time,
car
they
phones.
got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And finally, we have like cell phones that we carry every day. And now they're getting like, they got super duper small and now they're getting bigger again. Because they handed me the new one. I was like, dang, this is even bigger than the other one, but all right. Um, but everything is connected, like all of it is connected. And just because you have a brilliant mind, you can be incorrect due to a limited perspective.
And we all have limited perspectives compared to God.
Yeah. I mean, he sees everything, and we're like down here with eye patches over one eye trying to like see the whole picture, and it's impossible.
And we
It's
get one
impossible
piece
to
out
see
of
the
a
whole picture.
15,000 piece puzzle, right?
Yeah. But everything is connected. Everything. And Plato, he shared the allegory of the cave that was written by Plato in 380 BC. And it's talking about how there was a prisoner that was chained in the cave since birth, facing a blank wall, and behind him, a fire was casting shadows on the wall. right? And the only thing that was illuminated was whatever passed between the fire and the prisoner wall. And um, if that's all you can see, that is your perspective. And the point was profound of what we perceive is often just a shadow of what's really there. So if we think about that allegory of the cave and we think about that poor guy and how he can only see those shadows, well, poor us. We can only see the shadows too. We don't see the whole picture. We are that guy. So um, I thought that was fun. And then it talks about be, do, have, and how, a lot of modern coaches have some sort of variation be, do, have. Um, Jesse Lee always had one learn, do, teach. And it was like learn something, do it, and then teach it to somebody else.
Yep.
Learn something, do it, and then teach it to someone else. And this is very similar, but it's be, do, have, and it talks about, let us make man in our image. Be, let them rule. Do, they will be fruitful. Have. So it talks about be, do, have a lot. And it talks about it in not the next section, but the one yeah, not the next section, but the one after, I believe. Because the next section is generosity as a cause, not effect.
Yes.
But in looking for Jesus, he rolls it back around to the be, do, have. So we are going to come back to that. And then generosity as a cause, not effect, right? And in this, he defines energy a lot. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting is when my father passed away, one of the things I said at his celebration of life when I gave my speech was energy does not die. You just have to look for it in other places. So, and it is like that with all of God's creations with the energy. Um, he he makes it so that no matter what, our energy, even though I guess some people would call it a soul, maybe. I mean, I'm just the old raver in me wants to call it energy, but it's the same thing. I think it doesn't die; it just goes somewhere else. This is just a meat suit to wear on this earth. Um, and he talks about how people with a lack of generosity are experiencing a form of spiritual diabetes. Like they could be surrounded by abundance, but they don't have any access to it. And it made me think about the seeds, or the gifts, the three servants that got gifts from the master when he was getting married.
This absolutely was something I thought about a lot when I was reading this chapter.
It made me think of that, like how if you take what he gives you and turn it into more, he's going to give you more. But if you take what he gives you and hoard it, it is not gonna like grow you at all. As a matter of fact, you are probably just gonna get atrophied from the fact that you just clutched something so hard.
Right.
That skill is not gonna grow and bloom. When you combine science and spirituality, you get more than just a recommendation. Spiritual law works like gravity. You either obey it or you don't. And I kind of thought, like, that made me think about a couple things about how God always says, like, the path to heaven is going to be very, very narrow, and not a lot of people are going to go that way. And says you either obey it or you don't. And it's like, you'll know them by their fruit, you know? They'll either obey or they won't. But either way, they can't really be surprised. And there are a lot of people out here talking about what, and I don't know, I've never gone to heaven, so I'm not for sure, but they're talking about like different level, like, you know, if you're only this level of a Christian, you'll go here. But if you're actually obedient, you're going to go there. And like, it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to be? That just, it bugs me because they're like, oh, well, as long as I'm not burning in hell, I'll just be like lukewarm. It's fine. And it's like, but are
Be
you?
like right up to the fence without crossing it. Why wouldn't you want to be as far away from that sin fence as possible? Yeah.
And then it says in here, when you hoard and manipulate, you shrink. But when you give and trust, you expand. And it made him think about gates. In Proverbs 11:24, it says, you know, yet there's one who gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give and only suffers want. And I am going to read that out of the easy to read version because, hang on, Proverbs 11:24. Because I want y'all to hear the difference, just so you know. Like, in here it says, you know, the one who gives freely yet grows all the richer, another withholds what he should give and only suffers want. In this version, it says, some people give freely and gain more, others refuse to give and end up with less. Oh, hi, friend.
Well,
But
he's like totally, I mean, it's, oh gosh, and now we've got the other one coming in, because there's only so much camera space. So therefore, okay, I love you too. I told you.
but it reminded him of Gates, and um because giving and receiving are both like an energy transfer. So when you give, it opens you up to be able to receive. So when one goes out, the other comes in. And if, like I said, if you hoard your little gift and hold it inside, it's not going to enable you to receive anything else. You're just going to hold on to that. And it says, when we build generous lives, we open the gates of our lives to receive financial increase. But when we withhold out of fear, we close the gates required to be open for ultimate expansion.
My husband, the church we used to go to, the pastor used to say, if you have a closed fist, you can't receive the blessings. You have to open it up so the blessings can pour through. And that means, giving what you've received because God can bless that. Oh my goodness, dog. Oh no, just knock me off here. Wait. Oh, there you are.
So,
Okay.
um, I had John 15:5 written down. I don't know why yet. We're gonna find out. I have John 15:5 written down. I am the vine and you are the branches. If you stay joined to me and I to you, you will produce plenty of fruit. But separated from me, you won't be able to do anything. Oh, that was under the gratitude part. It's a pretty basic self explanatory law. Like the universe was built upon God's law and words. And we just have to have faith and go with his plan. Like, and if you don't get surprised when things don't go your way. They might for a little while, for a little season, but
It doesn't continue. It's true.
they won't forever. So the last section I have here is looking for Jesus. And I highlighted a whole bunch of stuff. So one of the like the easiest conversations I've had is with some of my people who are in the new age movement. And I also have had easy conversations with girls who were former strippers. But you know, people they look for Jesus in all kinds of crazy places. And
They do.
they may get a glimpse or a glimpse of peace, a flash of truth, but it's just temporary, it's just fleeting, right? But if you finish that, if you meet them where they are and extend that hand and bring them across the bridge or reach down and pull them up, it helps instead of your typical what we've experienced as church hurt, where people just shun them because they're different or turn their back on them because they're different. Oh, that's a new ager. Oh, they're into psychedelics. Oh, she's a stripper. Well, also,
If we're going to meet people where they're at, how can we lead them to Jesus? Why would they want the Jesus we have if we're just angry, judgmental, and
and see, a
gross?
lot of people don't want the Jesus we have because of that, because that is what they've experienced. They've experienced some sort of church hurt like that. And I don't think Jesus would want us to be like that with our brothers and sisters. Like, he made all of us. He made me, he made you, and he made everyone in the Middle East. That's why
That's right.
when someone says like, you know, we should just bomb all like bomb those people, I'm like, God made them too, right?
He totally did.
Like, I'm sorry about busting your bubble there, but yeah. So in the end, it says, read the word of God and then do what it says. I
Imagine
love
that.
it. Read the word of God and then do what it says. Okay. I mean, it, it seems pretty self explanatory, but a lot of people don't realize it. So, I don't know.
It's from the dog.
So, do you have any takeaways?
I just, it just brought to my remembrance, the things that, I've learned in the past about how, yeah, generosity begets prosperity. You can't be, I mean, we shouldn't hoard our salvation. We shouldn't hoard our resources. We shouldn't hoard anything. Freely you've been given, freely give.
Hmm.
So that was in the Bible. Read and do. Yeah, I mean that's really what I don't know that it was a takeaway as much as a brought back to my remembrance. We can always use those reminders.
Yeah. One of my friends was saying tonight, like somebody had sent him some money and it was right when he needed money for his property tax. And he was like, it was just weird. And then when he went to pay his property tax, they, they were like, it's $380. And he was like, wait, what? And he was like, no, no, it's like 1800 and something. They're like, no, it's 380. And he's like, no, there has to be a mistake. And they're like, no, it's 380. And they were like, he's like, okay.
Jesus, give me a receipt.
So uh I thought that was cool because, you know, it was cool. It was like he gets this deposit of what he thought he would need, and then he gets to the actual property tax place to pay it, and it's even less than he was expecting. So he was in turn able to do some other things around his house that he, was thinking he wouldn't have the money to do yet. Like he wanted to replace his floor. He was able to. So he wanted to get a new toilet. He was able to. Like just stupid little things like that, like adult things.
Yeah, adulting's hard.
Yeah. I told Jeffrey because he turned 16 Tuesday, and I told him like a couple weeks ago, I said, when are you going to be 16? And he says, June 2nd. And I was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, it never gets any better, bro. Like, I remember being your age and thinking, damn, I just cannot wait to live on my own. Cannot wait. Now I'm like, damn, I wish I could just go back and have my dad pay all the bills and be eating cereal and sleeping in, and like food magically appeared in the cupboard and dinner magically appeared on the table. My clothes magically got washed and hung up. Toilet paper magically showed up in the bathroom. Things that you have to provide for yourself as an adult that you never have thought about as a child.
True.
Leave it to me to bring some reality to the kid. I'm like, nobody tells you about this, but it sucks. And it
Yeah,
never
yeah,
stops. Like,
totally.
you think it sucks now, it's going to suck forever. All right. I was like, because as soon as you get the answer to one prayer, you're going to be like, okay, wait. This is not what I asked for.
It is so true.
Well, I love you so stinking much.
So, is Tuesday going to work for you next week, or do you have another thing?
Um, I think so. I think it's the 18th that is. Yeah. Tuesday should be good. Um, it's the 18th that I have to go to the Fayette County City Council. meeting.
Okay.
I think it's the 18th. Let me double check. Let me look at my stupid photos here. Mhm. June 18th. Yes. All right. Perfect. Yeah. For some reason, they make like a lot of them on Tuesday and Wednesdays. And I was like, y'all realize like everything's on Tuesday and Wednesday? Come on now. But I'm glad the one for this county is on a Thursday. Yay.
There you go.
But the reason I was going to the other ones is because my friend is running for Congress here in the state of Georgia. And she is one of the Save Our Children city leaders for Atlanta. And it's like, I really want to support her.
Absolutely. As you should.
And she's like my only local friend other than like my cousin. So literally, like between the two of them, it's like, okay, well, all right. All right. Well, I love you. I have to go out and check on my dog. He's barking.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful day. I think I just totally lost you.
No,
Oh,
I
there
see
we
it.
go. Okay, there you are. I don't know where. Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. Love you, friend.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh.